Hey everyone, welcome to the new channel of Krieg the Bullfrog and Friends. I know there's been a couple of videos on the channel already, but I thought I would just do a quick introductory video on Krieg's latest setup. It's been a while since I've really posted anything about this, and plus it means that anyone who's new to the channel gets an idea of what Krieg is, how he lives, and the kind of environments that you need to be able to care for a giant African bullfrog. So before I show you Krieg's enclosure, it's really important to know that when you buy a giant African bullfrog, the hint is in the name, they are giants. When you buy them, especially if they're froglets, they are tiny. They'll quite happily fit in the palm of your hand, but they do get much bigger. So when you're doing this, please do bear in mind that you're going to need a tank to suit for life. Anything that is 20 gallons or larger is appreciated. The tank that Krieg is in is by a company called Boyu, and the size of this one is a 90 centimetre by 45 by 45. This one we managed to get second hand, we were quite lucky, but it should do him for life. And there's also plenty of room for us to do any modifications or upgrades that we want to do while we've got him here. So this is Krieg's enclosure. It's pretty basic. A lot of the time people see these kind of setups with all the lights and pumps and everything else, and they kind of assume that it's pretty complicated, but in reality it's actually very simple. So as you can see, Krieg's enclosure is split into two halves. He has a terror section and an aquatic section, which as you can see is where he spends most of his time. This terrarium is bioactive. When I say bioactive, I basically mean that there are small isopods living in the soil that help break down anything from waste that he produces to other dead isopods and morio worms, things like that. And any sort of food that he drops or leaves, they will ultimately consume, and basically the soil is self-cleaning essentially. With bioactive soil, you can go anywhere up to 10 years without having to change this, and to be honest, it saved us an absolute fortune in Eco-Earth because the stuff can be quite expensive. But let's start on the outside. On top of Krieg's tank, this is a solar lamp. Has A, V, U and B rays, which are basically good for his skin, and this supplies warmth throughout the day. Next to that, we've got his pump. Now this is an OA's Filto Smart Thermo. It's a 100 litre an hour pump, and as you can see there is a thermostat that heats the water as it goes through. I know it's set to 31 at the moment. The water itself doesn't actually get that warm, just purely because of the environment that it's in. Next up there is this here, which is a simple LED night lamp. It's a little bit dimmer than the solar lamp, so we have that on in the evening. Obviously that doesn't give off any heat whatsoever, which is what this is for. This here is a ceramic heat lamp. If I go under here, you can see that. And essentially what that does is it keeps the temperature maintained through the night, meaning that he doesn't get too cold. During the day, the tank stays at anywhere between about 28 and 30 Celsius, and at night it drops down to around about 24 to 27. So that concludes the recap tour of Krieg's latest enclosure setup. I hope you found it beneficial. I hope it sheds some light on what it's like to own a giant African bullfrog. To be honest, they are incredibly easy pets. They are very easy to care for. The most complicated part of all of it is figuring out exactly what you need and getting it all set up. Once it's done, it is very straightforward. To be honest, he's pretty much left to his own devices for the majority of the week until we can take him out to feed him at weekends. But I say, if there's anything that you feel like I've missed, by all means leave a comment below. Other than that, please like, subscribe and share the channel.